Hey everybody, welcome to the Insurance Journal's Academy of Insurance's weekly webinar aftershow. I'm your host George, and joining me for the aftershow today is the director of the Academy of Insurance, Mr. Patrick Raitt, and today's instructor. Today's class was Agency Best Practices Revisited, Why the Order Taker Standard Does Not Work to Your Detriment. The instructor today is Mr. Fred Fisher. Fred, welcome to the aftershow. Great to have you here.
Oh, thank you, George. Thanks for having me. And of course, Patrick, it's always a pleasure to be part of the Academy. It's like, gosh, my relationship with you guys goes way, way, way back. I can't believe how long you guys have been putting up with me. But it seems like one of the earliest ones I've got dates back to 2014.
Wow. Well,
that's probably right. I came in 17. So
Absolutely. Fred, it's great to have you here. And I wanted to start by asking you about getting advice from agents and maybe getting the wrong advice. And you had a restaurant analogy. And I was just curious, if you have a dinner party and they don't know the menu and you're saying, everybody, let's go to Spago for the Bronzino. And you sit at the table, order a Bronzino, head's intact, everything's great. And Wolfgang Puck himself comes out and it says, Mr. Fisher, why don't we give you the fish and chips instead? And you're like, that's not what I wanted. You're like, but the fish and chips. It's Wolfgang Puck. What can, Spago. What do you think? I mean,
how old is the fish? How old is the fish they want to get rid of?
That's what you ask.
Sometimes the specials, are like it's special because we don't want to have to throw it out,
Right. Or you go to you're at the Whiskey A Go-Go and you and a jazz band have claims made practices set to music and you have a triumphant performance of the whiskey. You bring everybody over to the Sunset Tower. Well, you're like, yes, I want the condor, the roast condor with caviar. And they say, no, how about we give you the corn dogs? Are they giving you bad advice because you don't know the menu, or they don't, or how old are the corn dogs, or are condors hard to get because they're endangered?
They might. And if you ask that question to your waiter, I don't know what he's going to say.
Well, what would you say?
They may not even know.
They may not know.
They may not know. Oh, what?
Is that part of the issue in general with coverage and recommending coverage?
Well, that's a different issue. Number one, if you're in sales, you want to sell more. And so why not? I remember seeing a major brokerage, and they had one of these preset presentation things that was done in Word. And, you probably had half a page worth of stuff you had to type in. The rest of it was all boilerplate. And at the end, they had a laundry list of all the different coverages you should consider. So, okay. You really think that your client is going to read the page 14 of this document? Probably not. But
page 4.
And it really is up to the sales guy. But the problem is that most CEOs, if you're meeting with a business or the corporate risk manager, depending on how big the company is, they just don't want to take the time. They're too busy running their business, and oh God, it's been an hour of this. I don't know how you can deal with one or two types of coverages in an hour, let alone 17.
Right.
And it really is nothing to take for granted. And I think that those agencies that are more full service and can do risk management review, I think for the most part they do. I think there's a lot of agencies that do that. But on the same token, I see other agencies where you just want to shake your head. How are these guys even making it in the industry these days? I mean, when you've got one company that's got a special unit in a different city, and all they do is banks and financial institutions. Meanwhile, their local office in, say, San Diego has got a private equity company opportunity, and they go in there and do whatever. And they don't tell the specialists in Atlanta or wherever they're located because they don't want to share commission. Or they're not even allowed to. I know major brokerage has got offices all over the place. And they're not allowed to share commission because each office is its own profit center. And so the whole mechanism is geared towards maximizing their revenue, even at the expense of the customer's coverage I was flabbergasted on that one.
Fred, I don't know if you consider, like, if an insured or a potential insured calls an insurance company and they're guided through an ordering process electronically, and the electronic order taker doesn't talk about coverages because they're just following prompts, and they don't offer coverage that the client needs, and then the client has a claim and they find out that they could have gotten this coverage, but the electronic order taker did not offer it to them. Is the company that who is liable? I mean, is the insurance company that set up the electronic order taker's prompts liable?
Really good question. It depends on what state you're in. If you're in an order taker state, probably not.
Okay.
But if you're not in an order taker state, that's another matter. But I see a bigger problem with these automated systems, and that is try and get a specimen before you buy.
Okay.
And I'm serious about that. Try and get a specimen before you buy. You can't, for the most part. Now, there are some that they give you 15 days after binding to because they can deliver the policy like that, and they'll give you 15 days to review the policy and cancel with no penalty. But if it's a renewal with a prior act date, you're toast. Because even if you cancel it and want to buy from another company, number one, most companies won't do a midterm, what they call a midterm, quote, a wait till expiration. And you're running, like I said, you're running the risk of losing a retroactive date. So the 15 days to renew to review and cancel isn't going to do you a lot of good. Right. You're slitting your own throats. And so there's that other problem. And of course, the courts, are so conservative on this issue now, and they're placing the onus on the consumer, 100%.
Patrick, what do you think of the topic in particular today? Does the order taker standard not work to your detriment, or does it work to your detriment? Or, like Fred said, does it depend on the context? And and what do you think of the fact that Fred's first class of the Academy was 2014, and you've been here a little bit less than Fred's first class? I mean, you and Fred go way back.
So the fun thing about it is that I like this title because those who will look at the bottom, the lowest possible standard, and say, you can say to their competitor, you can play in this pool, but I'm going to come up here. They will be successful. They will over time. They will lose the clients that are shopping strictly on price. They will lose the clients that are often the most difficult to have because their primary focus is price, and they will win in the arenas of providing better coverage, providing the opportunity for the insured to grow their insurance purchasing and grow their risk management portfolio. The fact of it is that they will be curating better clients for themselves for a longer term than the order taker will, because of that. So that's why I like this title. And the fact that Fred's been with us longer than I've been with us, that just speaks to the quality of the classes and how great our cadre of instructors is.
Well, there's no question about that. I mean, the fact that the Academy has been around as long as it has speaks to the fact that you guys are obviously doing something really, really, really right, really, really, really necessary. I mean, you guys have got some of the best people in your stable that you have other experts that, I truly respect, highly so. Chris Durand, I mean, guy amazes me every time he opens his mouth.
I always enjoy it, Fred, when I look at the list of attendees and I see the name of an instructor sitting in there. That just reminds me that we've all figured this thing out, that we haven't figured it out. We don't know all that there is to know. We are continually seeking to grow in our learning. And one of the things that truly enjoy about what I do is I get to sit in on these classes and listen to people who've got an expertise that's far different from mine, and a background that's different than mine. And I would still, I don't know that I'm an expert at all in claims made anything, but I tell you, I've got more than the basic understanding I had when I first came in here, because I'd only dealt with one claims made policy, and that only because I had to. And they had a few, and it wasn't even the policy; it was an endorsement on another policy. So.
You speak to something that's perfect, and there was something that happened yesterday that I posted on LinkedIn that unfortunately I didn't get a chance to splice it in for today, but this is a good time to bring it up. There was, I guess it was Delaware, that was reported where when you deliver a defective policy, whatever that means, to your client, that immediately starts the clock running on the statute of limitations to sue a broker. Now, Illinois already has that, but there's some exceptions to it, at least in Illinois. And I won't mention names, but there's an attorney that I know very well, and he's a member of the PLDF. And he and I have had a running battle on this issue. And this, from the standpoint is, okay, so you get delivered a policy, and you look it over, and suddenly you realize, oh my God, there's something wrong here. Whatever it may be, doesn't matter. And now you're told the clock is running to sue your agency. What are the damages? You haven't got a claim in that's not covered.
Right.
How do you sue somebody when there's no damage yet, but you've got this long tail where 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever it is, then you're going to get a claim and you find out that that's going to rear the ugly little head of whatever the defect is. And I said, how do you sue somebody with no damage? Oh, well, the damage is because the policy is defective. Okay, what's the dollar amount?
Right.
And the only solution to that I can come up with is to sue for what's called declaratory relief. Now, again, I'm not a licensed attorney. Don't take this as legal advice. Yeah, everybody out there, talk to a lawyer. But you have to probably get a court order saying, okay, if a claim comes in later that ends up not being covered because of this problem, game over. Broker loses. You know, and I think that's the only thing you can get as a court order, saying, okay, does that happen? You know, I hope they're still around.
Sure. Right.
It is the most absurd thing. But when you put that in a bigger perspective, you got the order taker standard of care. The insurer's got to read an 86-page policy and find the defect. And also, wait a minute, it's not defective in California, but it might be in Arizona. And I've got business in Arizona.
Right.
So you got that problem. And it's like more and more, nobody's going to be held accountable. Except the poor policyholder.
And the policyholder is going to be left holding the bag.
Yeah. Now here's the if you, I don't want to get too deep into this, but if you want to say this is part of the supply side not having any accountability to the consumer, we can have that conversation. And if we are, then I would start out with just remember suppliers are also consumers.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Lawyers wrote articles that let us help you write policies that cover very little, and guess what? They took it and they took that to heart. And look at your own E&O policy now, guys. Mm-hmm. Or look at what happened with Pharmacia. They had to cover $47 million of a settlement because one of the excess carriers had language in it that said all underlying insurers had to admit liability. Oh, they didn't. We're out of here, and it was upheld. Not only in New Jersey, it was upheld in New York. And so there's language that can help an insurance company escape paying a claim, leaving poor Pharmacia Corp out of pocket for $47 million. So you're burning yourself. But on the same token, well, there are a lot more consumers than there are corporate suppliers. So who wants to volunteer this year to take one for the team?
Fred, you've been with the Academy for so long, and if anybody's watching this and they're not a member yet, one of the great reasons to become a member of the Academy of Insurance is Fred Fisher's body of work just with the Academy. I mean, we have a couple of dozen on-demand courses that Fred has taught at least. And I was going to ask Fred a question and Patrick a final question. Patrick, when do we have Fred back? I think it's the fall. And Fred, could you talk a little bit more? Can you plug your book, Claims Made Insurance, that is currently being sold on the Academy bookstore?
Well, that's a baby, of mine. I've been dealing with claims made policies for over 50 years. I've seen it all. I've seen the evolution and the problems and the mistakes and the cut and pasting and the copying and, people scratching their head. What the hell is that? And I've seen it evolve, and I've seen a lot of people hurt by them as well. And when you consider that attorneys are the worst at having their claims denied, they have the highest frequency of claim denials because lawyers can't figure out how to properly report a claim on time. That says a lot. And the purpose of insurance is to put people back in the position they were in before the loss. Bottom line. And that's not happening anymore. And there's so many reasons for it. And one of them is just not taking the time. And if lawyers can't take the time, there's something really wrong. But that was why I wrote the book. And I wrote the book for the consumer. It, certainly was written for the industry, of course, but it was written in a way that the consumer can understand and relate to. Not that they required necessarily any special expertise, because for the most part, they're all professionals to begin with, accountants and lawyers and architects and engineers. So these are educated people. And so they're a little bit more than somebody who's running a, garage out of his, local garage or something. And I'm not trying to put anybody down there, but it's a sophistication level. And if they're having trouble reading the policy and understanding what they're supposed to be doing, that says a lot. And it needs to be told. I'm all about financial protection. I believe in the insurance industry can do that if it's done right. And it can be done right. And if you can do it right, you can also make a really good profit. And that was the whole point of the whole thing with Chantel's white paper on, the return on investment in the claim department, because she's absolutely correct. The claim department is the only place where the product is produced. It is not underwriting. It is not marketing. It is not the C-suite of an insurance company. It's the claim department. And it just annoys the heck out of me that, the brand new president of a major insurer can thank the underwriting and marketing departments and their actuarial departments, and et cetera, and never mention the claim department for the current success. What, is he out of his mind?
Patrick? So I want to make you answer that question, but when is I
don't get passionate about that.
No.
Again, you're absolutely right there. And George, to what you'd asked earlier, we've got Fred in October, and we're looking forward to it. We were talking earlier about maybe some options or opportunities with that class, so we'll leave it as a teaser for the folks out there in Insurance Journal land.
I love it.
Well, I do have a couple of suggestions, as you know, and I'm gonna fire that burner up a little bit because there was some high demand for one of them, of course.
Yeah.
And this is probably a good time to plug another item from the Academy, folks. If you didn't see it on May 7th, get online, go to the Academy. Is that behind a paywall? You have to be a member to watch the recording of it.
Last I think
yes.
We have that set up as a free item, but I'm not sure.
You might want to check
it out.
I had a couple of people tell me they couldn't look at it without becoming a member. But nonetheless, I would encourage everybody to watch the return on investment in investing in the claim department panel discussion with Chantel that we did on May 7th. That was really sent a shockwave through the industry because of the white paper that she wrote, and then of course the way it was promoted, and of course the Academy did a phenomenal job, and I will be forever grateful for the commitment you guys made on that one, and thank you. But it really sent a shockwave through the industry, and people are reading it and people are looking at it, because the bottom line is, and again, this is Chantel saying it so accurately, the claim department is the only place where the product is produced. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where you make or break a program, a company, what have you. It's the claim department and always has been.
Absolutely. So I looked, and that is behind a paywall. But if there's anybody that's watching this and wants to get in without the cost, if you want to get it, reach out. I know a guy.
Or maybe we could do a discount. Maybe email support@ijacademy.com and do just give me the words Fred50. FRED50. And we will talk to the guy that Patrick knows.
I'll waive my fee on the next panel discussion.
Wow.
I'm serious.
Gentlemen,
we've had a couple with the one with Chris
true.
Duran, and of course, and the one with Chantel. It's, to me, I'm brain dumping now. Yeah, I've been in the industry 51 years. I'm 76 years old, for crying out loud. If I could open up my head and put everything out there for everybody if they want it, and believe me, I'm not the only good guy here. You got other panelists that I think the world of, Casey and to Chris and so many others. You guys have got one of the finest brain trusts, I think, of any organization that's putting educational stuff out there. Thank you, as always.
Thank you, Fred. Patrick, thank you for coming to the after show. It's always great to have you here. Fred, thank you so much for your help. It's always great to have you teaching and as a guest of the after show. The class today was Agency Best Practices Revisited: Why the Order Taker Standard Does Not Work to Your Detriment. Fred Fisher, the instructor. On behalf of these gentlemen of esteem, I am your host, George, saying just happy to be here, saying thanks, everybody, and we will see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Fred50, FRED50. I'm not kidding. Support at ijacademy.com. Watch. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, everybody.